And developing this morning, graphic pictures, text messages, more disturbing, obscene images, all part of newly released evidence in a 24-year-old murder case. Ronnie Hyde is behind bars now, charged with the 1994 murder of 16-year-old Fred Laster. First Coast News has been investigating this case. Jeff Vallon joins us with the latest this morning.
The mountain of evidence gathered since 61-year-old Ronnie Hyde was arrested last year continues to grow. The latest copies, released by prosecutors this week, include hundreds of photos showing Hyde to be a world traveler, everywhere from UF football and Key West to San Francisco, London, and Cozumel, among others. Investigators took hundreds of pictures of their own, combing every inch of Ronnie Hyde's homes, including his last in Jacksonville Beach, where bones found in the backyard have mostly been identified as non-human. The literally thousands of exhibits include handwritten notes, phone texts, obscene sketches, and pornography. The FBI's worldwide dragnet for information hints that law enforcement is looking to tie Hyde to other investigations. Tonight's document dump includes information regarding the 2005 disappearance of teenage Jacksonville schoolmates Brian Hayes and Mark Degner, but makes no direct tie to Hyde. Prosecutors will continue to stitch together the nearly 9,000 days since Nassau County teen Fred Laster's dismembered body was found, in hope of securing a conviction.
That was Jeff Vallon reporting. A lot still to learn in that case. Hyde will be back in court on August 27th. Jury selection is slated for later this year.